Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Mom Games. As always, I am your host, the Mom. For today's adventures, I thought we should continue along on our questing journey, beginning with Rune Mysteries. Now, I had accidentally started this quest before hitting record, because of course I did, but we're going to go talk to the Duke, and he's going to give us a little synopsis here, which is telling me to go speak to Cedrador in the Wizard's Tower. So that is where we are going to head off to now. Alright, so we're going to speedrun this bad boy. So we give Cedrador the talisman. He casts a little spell on the talisman, says, ooh, it's special. And then he wants us to take a box and something else over to his buddy Aubrey in Varrock. So that is where we are going to head off to now. So we flash forward over to Aubrey. Aubrey gets his package. He's checking out the notes. He's all excited by what he's got. And then he's telling us, okay, great, I love these notes. Now I need you to go back to Cedrador. So that's what we're going to do. So now we flash back forward over to Cedrador. We're going to give him the notes that Aubrey gave us. Cedrador is all super excited because it is the lost incantation. And we can get into the rune mines so that we can do some rune crafting. I have never done a lot of rune crafting because I have found it mind-numbingly dull, because you can only hold so many of those blank runes, and then you got to go back in, and then you've got to get teleported there. And I'm sure there's other ways to do this, but that's the only way that I know how at this time. So Cedrador I know can teleport me, and Aubrey can teleport me, and there's somebody else, I think maybe in Falador, that can teleport me. I'm sure there's a lot I'm missing, but that's the vast of my knowledge at this point. So we've got the quest completed, and we're going to move on to another quest. I'm going to try to fast forward through the quests as best I can in this video, since I know you all are not going to want to watch me go through all of these quests so slowly. And also, I have a lot recorded in the future, so I'd like to get to that quicker. So let's do some fast forward questing after we do a little bit of mind-numbing rune collecting here. Now, is this the only way to runecraft? I don't know. It's all I know right now. So if runecrafting gets more entertaining into the future, please let me know, because this is not fun. I know there's a rune pouch I can get at some point that makes me be able to hold a few more of these blank runes, but so far that's all I know. Now, I know I said we were going questing, but I thought this would be a fun little section here to kind of show you how inefficient my brain works with my RuneScape gameplay. As I said, I have a tendency to go off the rails, and in this case, after banking, I decided, you know what, I need to go fishing, because fishing is necessary before questing. So we went and we bought some fishing supplies, killed some muggers along the way, killed some highwaymen, may or may not have killed some goblins along the way here, because, you know, you have to kill some goblins here or there. So you gotta stop. I like that they drop beginner clues, so I always try to kill them when I have the opportunity. I try to cut most of that out so that you're just not watching me kill goblins all day long. But yeah, I get easily distracted and decide that, yeah, I want a quest, but I need to fish first, or I need to cut down some trees first, and I think that's the best part about RuneScape. Oh, and the mini quests. I got to play some pinball along the way. But I think that's one of the things that I love so much about this game is you can have a game plan, and within mere moments, it just goes off the rails. So we go and we bank all of the loot that we got from, you know, randomly killing menaces on the way over to our fishing spot. And I love it. It's a great time. So there's 21 fishing. And 24 cooking. 22 fishing. 23 fishing. 25 cooking. 24 fishing. 25 fishing. There's 26 fishing. Oh, but we're not done yet. 27 fishing. That's 28 cooking. No, that's 28 cooking. I said 28 before. That was 27. Here we have 28 fishing. Fun fact, I've never caught a slimy eel. Now we have 29 cooking. And finally, we have 30 fishing. And last but not least, 30 cooking, at least for this video. Now, why did I decide to do this, you may be asking yourself? Well, other than getting distracted easily, I wanted to stockpile up on both the raw and cooked trout and salmon for the beginner clue scrolls. I believe Charlie the Tramp asks for those quite frequently, and since I want to pile up some of those clue scrolls in the bank, I figured I would have those items easily available so that I didn't have to stop in the middle of the clue to go and fish. So now that we have that fishing out of the way, I decided it was time to start doing Imp Catcher, and I like to have all of the beads gathered at a time, plus any extra beads, you know, I can sell for a nice amount of money. There's level 24 prayer. So now it is time to slaughter some imps. Now I don't like running all over the place looking for these things. I know there's some that you can catch up on that little island that starts with a K. Karamja. There you go. But I figured instead I was just going to camp this guy that spawns outside of the Lumbridge Castle and kill him over and over again. I had already had most of the beads from prior imp slaughters, but I still had to work on that white bead, which he gave me a run for my money. I had to kill him quite a number of times before I got that white bead to drop. So now that we have our white bead, we can head over to Mizgog. We are going to ask him for a quest, not so politely. He's going to ask us if we can help him out with his beads. And then, surprise, we already have them. So he's telling us the imp stole them. They're his 4 magical beads. He has to have them. Surprising turn of events. I just so happen to have all of your beads. Are you saying that you stole my beads? I am absolutely not saying that. I just slaughtered a whole bunch of imps for them for you. I just had a premonition that you would need them. So we got to give him his beads back. Get a nice little cutscene here. Pops his beads in the tray. Does some wizard magic. And then boom, quest completed, and we get the Amulet of Accuracy and 875 magic XP. And I am just moving along now with 26 magic. Now at this point I decided that I was going to finish a beginner clue scroll that I still had in my inventory, and it required a leather cowl, so what do I need to do but slaughter some cows so that I can make that leather cowl myself. So I slaughter some cows, get an inventory full of leather, make my way over to Al-Kharid, and as I'm watching this playback I realize I did not have enough money to make all of that leather into Tan's leather. So I gotta run over to the bank, get some additional money so that I can make this leather. I think it took me a minute to realize I do not have enough money to do this. I also quickly realized I did not have a needle to make any of the items. So we're gonna have to go and get one of those as well. But first, the bank.
Level up, completed.
I'm realizing now on this playback as well that my audio is completely out of sync, so I do apologize for that. I will get better one day. It may be 100 videos in the future, but hey, in the meantime, enjoy my terrible editing that I've probably already mentioned 600 times. So I got some additional money here to tan the rest of this leather. Had some leather in the bank too, so grabbed that. Still don't have a needle. At this point, I decide I'm gonna tan up the rest of the leather that I have in the bank that leather, grab some more leather, get the rest of it tanned up. At some point, I realized that it was the easy clue scroll that I had in my hand and not the beginner clue scroll, so I went and grabbed the beginner clue scroll from the bank, went and bought an iron scimitar, realized he also sold a mithril, so went and got more money so that I could buy the mithril as well, because I can now use that. Once grabbing the mithril scimitar, I decide that I am going to head over to the wizard's tower and complete this beginner clue scroll. So I run around aimlessly through Alcarid for a little bit longer, finally realize where I can buy the needle. I also pick up a chisel because why not? I'm going to need that at some point as well. Make my way over to the wizard's tower. You know, I really should put the unlicensed hypercam 2 in the corner of these videos because that's kind of the level of quality that they are at this point. But I'm having fun. And somebody's watching, so I thank you for that. So we dig up the clue, we get the next clue scroll, and this one has me going to talk to Hans, so I've got to make my way back over to the Lumbridge Castle. I promise, one day I actually do leave this general area. I can't promise when that's going to be, but I do. I think I've visited the gnomes at some point. You may not see that for a couple more videos. Who knows? I can tell you one thing though, we definitely need to train agility. I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. I need to make my way up to Priest in Peril so that I can get into Mauritania and just grind for my graceful set so that I can stop walking at the speed of a snail. So we finally make our way over to Hans. Hans gives us a third clue scroll step. This one has me going over to the Draenor Village Market. The other thing I need to start doing at some point is using teleports. So I fast forward my way over to the Draenor village and talk to Fortunato to get my beginner clue scroll casket. Now I just have the easy clue scroll to complete. At this point I decide to head on over to the bank and get some of the items that are required to make the leather cow to see just how far in crafting I need to go before I can make it. Notice I am missing the thread. So we get the thread. Realize that's a coif and not a cowl. Check out my handy dandy crafting guide here. If it weren't for these crafting guides, or for any of these guides in that matter, I really wouldn't have any idea what I was doing. So now I'm going to make some boots to get my levels up a few so I can make that cowl. And of course, you've got to keep the boots and sell them on the Grand Exchange for their whole two gold coins at some point. But now I can make my cowl. Now that we have all of those completed, we've got the blue wizard robe, we've got the cowl, and we've got the iron scimitar, so I can go to the Sinclair mansion and complete this clue step. So flash forward through our journey past the White Wolf Mountain into Camelot, and then finally up to the Sinclair Mansion. We get to do our laugh and get our final clue step, or it's a casket. So we get to finish off the casket. So we are done with that easy clue. And with that, I'm going to end the video here today for you folks. This hasn't gone nearly as long as some of my other videos have, but I did have a lot of editing involved, and I've got a lot of things to do and a lot of game to play. So hopefully I will be getting some additional videos to you shortly. If you enjoyed this even a little bit, I would appreciate a like and subscribe, only if you want to. You don't have to. If you did not like this video, I'm sorry. I will try harder next time. And I hope you all have a great day.